professional career, professional network, landing professional jobs, that is just a struggle wherever you go. Some countries
Yeah.
it's not as bad as others, but it generally is like a struggle.
So that's one of the reason I started this podcast, so that actually migrants can share their experience and forward their reality and like struggles they have actually faced to the people out there, so that they just don't get fascinated or they just don't take decision on the basis of Instagram posts and reels. But like we do have at this stage we do have Instagram and Facebook, like there are other social media platform as well. So how is Icicle is different from other social media platforms for students?
The connections that you make will help you land those internships, will help you get a part-time job. You're even seeing it, like referrals are so helpful in those part-time jobs and on-campus jobs.
how it helps international students or someone who is sitting in different country to find opportunities or to build networks.
So I think it's interesting to think about this because sometimes we get the question where someone's like, okay, I made a profile and now how is this going to help me? And I
Yeah.
think it's just a cultural difference I've seen too, because like a lot of these study abroad destination countries, I'll say, they really have networking embedded in the way that their societies work. And I'm learning that some of the countries that maybe send the most students don't have that. So maybe your school automatically will place you into a company. That's not something that happens in the US or in the UK, right?
Yes, that's a very good
So
point
network,
because even I used to get a lots of these questions like, hey, if I'm going to graduate from Australian university, how will I get the job? And like, will there be companies coming to the campus? I was like, no, because that would happen in India. That's what
yeah,
happened in India actually. Like in Indian universities, at the end of your graduation, usually there's a I don't remember the word, but there's companies that come and interview some students. Like
mhm.
that's totally
Yeah.
different in other countries.
It's not how it is. And for that reason, I think like we even realized some students don't realize that they need to be doing this until it's almost too late. Like in the US, you have like 90 days to land a job once you start kind of like your post work period, post graduation like work period. At that point is not the point you should start looking for a job, right? Like you should have
Yes.
been working on it way before. And so it can be a little bit tougher to explain, but the whole idea is that like you get in what you get out what you put in. So it's like if you start interacting with people, if you start looking for alumni in general, if you start looking for current students who are a step ahead of you can utilize Isicle as a way to reach out to them. If they're not responsive on Isicle, you can go to like their LinkedIn and you can say, hey, I found you on Isicle. I saw this post that you can push to get those connections, have those coffee chats, have the conversations, and use this thing you have in common because you guys have struggled on the same thing. And when you've struggled in the same thing, the person is always going to have more empathy towards you, which is like the whole concept of
Concept.
Isicle networking. And it's the students I talk to who do this. Either they've made friends socially through Isicle, or maybe they've landed something, or they there's like literally a student who I was able to connect into a paid internship because of like the networking that he had done. And so it's like you need to put in effort and you need to push yourself to create connections, to talk to people, to ask questions. And then it becomes that, like, when something relevant comes up, maybe they'll refer you, or maybe you can reach out to them, or they can guide you, things like that. So that is what like networking is, and that is what iSchool is mainly facilitating. Some other stuff that we're starting to do to just generally make it easier is like we're working towards basically creating like resources and a marketplace that will make it easier. So that's like coming soon. I guess this is like a little hint if anyone's listening, but like that's going to come soon to also just make transitions easier, make your life abroad easier. But I think the best thing that you can use it for is to meet those people who are
Yeah.
like straight up going to be able to help you because they've been through it. Yeah.
True. Nice. And apart from that paid internship that you mentioned, so do you remember any other success stories that have built friendship or networks through Icicle?
There is some of my absolute favorite. I mean, this is silly to add this one, but one of my very best friends I met through Icicle. She lives in India. She's literally sent me like a little package. I have these adorable earrings now that are of elephants from India. Her birthday package is going in the mail soon from me. So everything's like cross now. But I speak with her every single day. I run ideas about Icicle by her. She runs stuff by me. We talk all the time. I would have never ever met her. And even her decision to, maybe like weird to say this, but like her decision not to come to the US to study, even though she had her acceptances, is something that her and I spoke about before she was like, okay, I'm going to actually take a job offer instead of coming to study abroad. Um, like, that's all, like, we have spoken about so many things. And even that was like something where I was like, honestly, this is my opinion. Like, this is what I think you should do.
Yeah.
And so I'm sad that like I don't get to see her now for a
See,
long time,
yeah.
but I think that was like what was better for her. It just felt cool
But
to like be
yeah,
trusted
can
to
I
be part of
ask?
that.
Can I ask the reason
Yes.
why she didn't choose to move to US instead of getting a job?
Yeah. So she had like an acceptance to the school she wanted to go to. Um, it was for a master's, so she'd already done her undergrad, and then she, in that time period before she was going to come, she applied to a role at a company where she was like, I could never work here, like they would never take me. This is like in maybe 7-8 years, like I'll be able to imagine working at this company. And they took her and they gave her a
Oh,
job offer that would train her to learn everything, all the skills plus more that she was going to learn in that master's program, with like a guarantee of like her track to becoming kind of like upper management. And that was insane. And like she couldn't even believe it. But she was like, oh, I've started making friends in the US. Like I have you guys there. Like I really, it's a dream to come for the experience. But at the same time, she was like, this is my dream job. Like this is what I want to
yeah.
spend every day doing. Um, and so then it just became,
That's
yeah,
that's a really good move, I would say, because it's a very informed and calculated decision.
yeah,
That's what I appreciate. Like instead of just believing on other things, or just being fantasized and moving, uh,
yeah,
it's not a good decision. But again, the way she did, she actually had a word with people like in US, and she actually calculated what skills she needs to have and how to progress with her career. That's really informative, and good decision. That's nice.
it's definitely served her well. I think like that's that, and that's the thing is like we are not a service, right? Like I don't have any gain by like lying to someone to say like, oh no, you should come.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
there's that, and that's a big thing because like we want it to be that you can ask that. We want, and like I love if she shares her story. Another of my favorite ones is that a girl that I is one of kind of like our power users who's like super active on Isicle, has actually met an Erasmus student, which is really cool. So if anyone doesn't, I actually don't really know what it is, but Erasmus is, I think, a program where you can kind of move around the universities in Europe. So even if you're studying like in Hungary, you could go for like your semester abroad in Germany. And she has basically become very good friends with a girl there. Like they go out together and they met on Icicle. And I literally have like a screenshot of their first like comment exchange. So it's really cool to see people going in real life from like
Yeah.
connections that they made online. Um, so that's amazing to just like, that is my like one of my goals in the future, hopefully, is to become like that a social network that helps you make those in real life connections.
Yeah.
Um, and then hopefully come back and post your pictures on our social account.
Nice. From now and then.
Yeah.
Right. So this brings to my next question. Like, apart from this platform, like, or what exciting features that are in the pipeline for the future of Icicle? Like, what else to serve or what else to bring in the platform?
Yeah. So the reason that you see me here and not Vitor, who's my co-founder, is because we're really, really grinding on this app. So we are expecting our mobile app to come out in the next few months. With app release, it's a little bit difficult because this is like the first of the release. So we need to get it approved by the App Store and by the Google Play Store, but it'll release on like both. So
Yeah.
we don't want like Android users to feel left out. So it will be there too, but it makes it a little bit harder in terms of like time. But that's coming soon. So I think that'll be just really great for everyone who wants like real time updates and notifications
True.
and just very used to apps. Um, that's tech side. On my side, something I'm actively working on is like building out our marketplace. So I mentioned it a little bit before, but just resources that will be useful to you in a variety of different ways. So whether it's just like tips, we have a wonderful intern who's helping create podcasts, not really podcasts, we call them voice notes, where he's just
Mhm.
talking about how to apply abroad. So kind of creating those guides, which will come out, but also within that marketplace, even like we're trying to basically, I'm trying to be like get deals for students. So try to find like discount codes that they can use and create agreements with companies that like are actually going to serve students. So like not going to companies that we would never use, but really looking at like what did Vitor use when he was abroad, or what are some of our power users like using every day that they just want like a discount on, and trying to just use our platform to get that. So I'm building out this marketplace, and I'm really excited for it. And hopefully it will just continue to grow, so that alongside the network and alongside everything like the newsletter that comes out and the opportunities
Yeah.
that are in there, we'll also have just like little bonuses to make your life a little bit shinier and more
Yeah.
fun while you're
Who doesn't
struggling.
love discount? Yeah. Who doesn't
Yeah,
love
I know.
discounts? Like as long as you're getting something cheap, then yeah. Especially as an international student, when you are actually looking to save some money.
When like you're thinking about like, okay, this costs me like, I don't know, 2 hours of work, like I'm like, okay,
Yes.
what can be, because that's really my job, is everything non-technical means growth, of course, but also means like how can I add value outside of tech. And I don't know, like to me that's a big one, because I think money
Yeah.
struggles and just like not like that is such a big part of the journey, and it takes so much of your mental energy too, so hopefully that
True,
will
true.
help.
Yeah, there's a famous reels as well. When you are eating a burger, it means you're eating your 1 hour pay.
No. God.
So,
Is
yeah.
brutal. Yeah. And food
Yeah.
is expensive. I can only imagine over there, but like here too, it's getting out of control. It's a little bit insane.
Yeah. But okay, that's good. I mean, there's something coming up, so sit tight and wait for some upcoming features then.
Yeah, sit tight.
But what tips you would like to give to prospective international students or someone who is listening or planning to move?
I think that you are never, ever, ever too early in starting to talk to people. Like, even if I think of my own journey where I started at community college, I literally didn't know most universities that existed in the world. And I later transferred to Stanford. Like, I got there by talking to people. I didn't get there by doing research or spending hours like calculating a GPA or something on like through Reddit or something. It was like talking to people and making connections. Like, not everything has to be, I don't know, for your job or for your major, but if there's stuff that's interesting to you, just find people who are interested in that too. Even if you haven't come abroad yet, like start to make the connections. If you meet someone who watches the same anime as you, like talk to them about it, because those little connections that you're making in that place you're going to go are part of that network. And you really never know how you're going to
Yeah.
get there. Like, even my co-founder and I know each other because I went up to him and started talking to him, and that, like, no other reason than that. If I hadn't done that, we this wouldn't exist.
Yeah.
So I just like try. Like, it's hard, it's scary if you're introverted. Like, I am introverted. I worked very, very hard to get to the point where I
Same.
can sit and like,
Yeah.
talk, right? But
Yeah.
it will serve you well. So just talk to people. You don't even need to be best friends with everyone, but just talk to them. Just make the connections and slowly, slowly move forward. And especially if they can be in that country that you're gonna go abroad to, or you are abroad in, it's well worth it.
True. Yeah, that's really deep and very important tip, I would say, because again, it's about your personality. Like, though you're introvert, but still you need to go out and talk to people. And no one is saying just to go out and give some speech or something, but at least text people on platform. Like time, now you have Isicle, now you have a platform. So at least go out and talk to people and make some connections. And connections doesn't mean having 500 people on your friend list. It doesn't mean
Yeah.
that. People get
No,
confused with
no.
it. Like, I do have people on my list, but those are not valuable connection as long as they are not giving you any value and not helping you out, or there's no shared information. Then there's no point of having 1,000 or 2,000 list.
Exactly. You know, you'd be so surprised. Like, we run analytics on this site, and there are so many people who just look at posts, and like we can see that they come back and they are still just looking at posts, but they don't comment. They're not active. And like, this is the lowest bar. This is the lowest bar, to drop a comment. Like, someone writes like, I don't know, like, what was the hardest part of studying abroad? Like, you can just drop one thing, and it was so hard for me to start doing this. I know it's very hard for my co-founder to start doing this, but like as soon as you start, it gets easier too. And you just like you do it slowly. Like maybe you just start with like one conversation, but it's like you said, even if you connect with someone and you just drop them a note like, hey, um, I don't know, like I really like the background of your profile picture.
Yeah.
Like, okay, already you made a little step towards them knowing who you are, and maybe you can have a conversation. But like if you just connected, in the future, if you message them like, hey, I saw you posted this job, like they're not gonna reply to you.
Yeah,
Um,
awesome.
you want to just create it like that, but like authentically, I think is the biggest thing. It's hard though. It's hard. Like it's not
Yeah,
easy,
it's hard.
but it's worth
So now, anyhow, would you like to take this opportunity to tell you something about your Isicle family as well?
it. My Isicle family. I honestly think that there are moments where building this is so hard. I cry pretty easily, but like there's sometimes I really just cry. Like we get comments that are maybe painful, or just the struggle of it is hard, or something I expected doesn't work out. And it feels exhausting. And maybe I'm on the couch with my blanket and just sitting there, but like then I can actually open Icicle and read people's posts or read a message from
Oh,
someone, and it's actually always comforting. Like, everyone is so well intentioned and kind, and like I I I mean, Victoria and I, like, we talk about like ICs, like we literally will drop names. I mean, like I don't know, like one of literally I'll be like, oh, like did you see what Becca posted, or did you see what like Rohan wrote here? And to us, like these are all our friends. Like we have
yeah,
thousands and thousands of friends now, and it's just insane. Sometimes it just feels like you get so stuck in numbers, but when you think of like these are all real people, it feels kind of incredible. And like I don't know, I need like an airline to sponsor me so I can go everywhere and see everyone. Because yeah,
yeah.
it's been really cool. So I'm very grateful for all of it so far. Yeah.
Hmm, nice.
Sorry.
That's
I don't
lovely.
know.
That was pretty emotional and lovely, though.
Thank you. Yeah, it's cool. It's wild.
Perfect. I believe that's all for now. We have covered a lot about Icicle with
Yeah.
this lovely platform, and I would suggest my audience to please check the platform, sign up for it, and be active. Like that's the whole point of having Icicle, is to interact with people and build networks, because eventually it's going to help you, not us. So
Yeah. At the end of the day, and thank you for what you do, for like the reason that you started Smart Migrant Academy, and like taking your time to put this effort and like give back, knowing like where you were and also where you are now. So thank you for doing this, and yeah, I'm excited to watch everyone just grow together. But this was wonderful. It's so great talking to you. Thank you.
yes, same here. Thank you so much for your time again, and thank you so much for the audience. See ya.